while coaching him?
Well, I think I kind of knew all the things. I think I knew who he was as a quarterback. It's obviously fun to see how he see the game, to be able to be with him, spend all the time we can together, and just see how he sees the game. That's interesting. That's the fun part of it. The way he sees the game is a beautiful thing for quarterbacks. I wish everybody can see it this way, just around the league, or hear the way that he sees it. So, I mean, it's a pleasure coaching him. It's fun coaching him. Just picking his brain, just putting him in situations, learning everything we can. We're just trying to get as many reps as possible to just get things repped, so he can just see some of the concepts, and he can see some of the players that he'll have around him and know where to put the ball and where they're going to be. So, I mean, it's been as crazy as off season it's been. It's been a lot of fun for me personally, because it's been an opportunity to slow down and coach, slow down and teach from the get-go. So it's exciting to have him in the room, to have as much time as we had, especially early on when we first got here, when we were just in the classroom. That time right there is priceless, when you can get everyone in the classroom and make sure we're all on the same page.
We hear him, and he's really positive, with his teammates and the way he coaches sort of on the field too. But you've seen this guy compete. It's going to be a little different on game day, right? I mean, that competitive fire, he has it in practice too. But right now, everybody's kind of, it's positive reinforcement. But is there another side of Tom that you've seen that he can get on guys too? I mean, how will your guys take to that when he gets critical with them?
Oh, I mean, that's every quarterback get critical with every player, I hope, because it's really the quarterback really telling the guy. There's concepts, right? There's plays of where you're going to be. And then there's the quarterback, the little things on telling, it may be telling Grunt, hey, I'm going to put this ball here if this happened. Mike, I'm going to do this if this happens. So that's normal. Those are things that normally happen with every quarterback, especially with everybody, with him being new, him learning Mike, him learning Chris, him learning Juice, he know Grunt, just all the players around him. So it's a lot of communication there on how he's going to see it, and all we're trying to get as many reps as possible so we can have those conversations.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Okay, our next question is going to come from James Palmer.
There you go. Byron, so often we see you guys, you and Tom, working on kind of just even fundamental stuff next to one another. He's been around the game so long. How much of, you mentioned the teaching, is there him saying, well, what if I did it this way? And you guys kind of either maybe compromise, or his way might be something you didn't see just because he's been around so much. That give and take, I guess, and you guys kind of going through some of this. Is that there?
Oh, yeah. Because, I mean, the best way to do any play concept is the way that the quarterback sees it. It's my job as a coach to know enough football to put him in position to play well, and for us to have the communication, to have the understanding on how he's going to see certain plays, how he's going to see certain concepts. So that is normal. So that's the fun part right now, really, about what we're doing, just repping plays. I wish we can do 300-400 plays a day just so we've missed so much time in OTAs, and I think we've done a great job of making up on time that we've lost. But at the same time, I mean, the more reps we can have, the more opportunities we can have for certain situations to happen, because there's always things that's on paper that you talk about and then something happens, and it adds to the concept. It adds to what our thinking need to be on certain plays, just because of an instance of something may happen normally in April and May, June, that hasn't had the opportunity to happen right now, and it's happening now. So it's the fun part. It's always the fun part. We're learning each other to make sure we be the best when this time comes.
And with the reps that you mentioned, and since you guys have a little bit of lack of them, does he ever say, like, I can so-and-so run again? I want another rep with, Winston. Does he kind of determine, maybe I haven't had enough with this guy, can I have a couple more with him?
Oh yeah. We give him as much as he can. As much as we can, we'll give it to him. We want him to get as many reps as possible. He's just really learning the guys. He's learning the guys in in a team atmosphere. I mean, it was great when we were doing walkthroughs, right? But it's a walkthrough. And a lot of stuff is not really moving fast. So to have the opportunity to really be practicing and executing plays and seeing how he execute plays, that's what I really want to see. I want to see what he does in certain situations just off of instincts. I tell you guys all the time, as a play caller, it's all about learning your quarterback, and that's what we're doing right now.
Okay, next is going to be Jenna Lane.
You mentioned learning your quarterback. I know we all got a pretty big laugh out of him inadvertently entering the wrong home in an attempt to go into your house. What was that experience like for you, like reading about it in the media? And what have you gotten to know about Tom kind of away from football, the type of human he is, the type of person he is?
I mean, we knew each other before he came down here. So there was already something there before he came down here. Like I told Rick earlier, when I think he asked me this question a couple months ago, you have to ask that guy about the story because I wasn't really there. So it was just something that came about. By the time I heard the story, it was already 6 weeks or 8 weeks or something later than I believe. So by the time the story had came out and everything, it was almost, I know it was more than a month. So from the time that happened, or so. I don't know. You really have to ask that guy, but it's a pleasure coaching him.
And what are you hoping to get out of Tom tomorrow in the scrimmage, especially in the absence of preseason games?
Oh, we're just trying to get better every day. That's all I'm trying to get out of him. We're trying to compete, get better. We got a good defense that we get to play against every day. We got guys that we're putting in certain situations so we can just fill it out and we don't know what type of offense we're going to have yet, but we'll have the one that fits us best, that puts us in the best position to win football games.
Thank you.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Ed Encina.
Hi, Byron. I was just wondering how much, maybe you might have thought that, given the situation that happened with the NBA yesterday with the boycotts, and kind of some of the events that followed, whether you came into the building today thinking that maybe you guys might not practice today. And I know that Bruce and LaShawn McCoy talked about a meeting that you guys had and discussed about, actually doing things that could affect change rather than necessarily, choosing not to practice. As a coach, what did you think of all that, and just kind of what that meeting was like?
Well, as a coach, the first thing you do, you listen to the players. It's really about them. I support whatever they want to do. Whatever. And then to me, it's whatever they feel as though that we should do as a group, we'll do. I believe in the cause. Things got to change, right? The things that we're seeing on TV right now it's scary that the things that we see every day and the experiences that, some people have. And so I'm in 100% support of whatever the players want to do. I don't think I should have an opinion on it, on what they should do. I'm just here to support whatever they feel as though we should do.
McCoy was saying, it's kind of a tough meeting. It's a tough discussion to have. The guys are kind of hurting right now. I mean, do guys come up to you, as a coach, as a guy who's played in the league, as a guy they look to? And did you have any discussions today about that were tough?
It's not a tough discussion for me. I don't know why it is such a tough discussion. That's amazing that it's 2020 and it's still a tough discussion. The fact that, we even said, like you said, it shouldn't be tough. I don't know why that's so tough, but hopefully we can find a way to make that not a tough conversation so we can get things changed. But to me personally, I don't know why that would be so tough to talk about when we're talking about grown men.
Thank you.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Tom Krasnicki.
Hi, Byron. Thanks for doing this. My question is about Tom Brady, and you just mentioned that you're still learning from the quarterback as he's learning from you. But in terms of the playbook, has he absorbed 100% of the playbook so far?
Oh, yeah. He's gotten all the install. Now we just got to rep it. We got to rep it. We got to And everything, like I said, it won't be exactly as it was last year. To be different because it's based on the quarterback. So we're just trying to rep enough plays, and I'm trying to see what he's doing with the ball, the decisions he's making, so I can figure him out and always put him in the best position to be successful. And that's the fun that we're having now between me and him. We're having a lot of fun, man, just bouncing things off each other, trying to see the limits that we can go offensively, seeing what we can and can't do offensively, what we can really get better at, what we need to get better at. And it's fun. It's fun working with him, having the mind that he has, seeing the game the way that he sees the game. I mean, he makes some unique plays, and it's the fun. It's fun being with him. It's fun coaching him. Especially it's fun because he's so willing to be coached. You know, he just wants good information. And like all good football players, that's all they want.
Well, in terms of repping it, do you foresee that process carrying over into the regular season until he gets everything down?
I mean, this is a different year. So, I mean, I don't think, me personally, I don't think it'll be no limitations, you know, from that standpoint early in the year. Obviously, the more you can do something, the better that any human being would be at it. So, but I don't think there'll be no limitations, really. I think we'll do what we feel as though we need to do to try to win football games. And that'll be our mindset from the most part.
Okay, our next question comes from Luke Easterling.
Byron, there are a lot of big names on this offense, guys that, you know, throughout the league, throughout NFL, you know, fans of every team they already know about. Who are some guys that either you already are experienced with on this offense or that you've seen flash in camp that maybe people don't know enough about that they're going to find out about this season?
Well, we have a lot of guys. I don't want to really, you know, put people on alert, but we have a lot of guys that just really working. We have a bunch of guys working. I always tell you guys, this is a hard-working group. This is the hardest working guys I've ever been around, you know, in the game of football. These guys really come to work every day. They come ready to put in work. They come ready to get better. And like I said, as a coach, it's a joy to coach all these guys because the effort that they give, the commitment that we have to each other, it's a true, really full commitment. And it's interesting to be around a group of men when we're like this. And we're just going to keep working, seeing how good we can get every day. And when it's time to play, we'll be ready to play.
And along the offensive line, when you have a rookie first-round pick, lots of expectations in a guy like Tristan Wirfs, a guy that obviously in an ideal world you would want to start as soon as possible, how much does it help him to have the rest of that group returning as four starters with a lot of experience and chemistry with each other to be able to kind of pick him up and get him ready?
Yeah, I mean, we got all the rest of the guys are the same, and we have guys up front that can help bring him along. This is our second year in the system, so everyone have an understanding of what we're trying to do. Unlike last year, we were introducing everything, and anytime you're in the first year of an offense, it always makes it tough. So now we're heading into our second year, so we got a better idea of where we need to be, what we're trying to do on certain concepts, who we're trying to get the ball to in certain concepts, and what we need to do to execute those plays. So it's easier for us from a standpoint of knowing what we want to do, what we got to do, guys doing things that they heard before. So we're playing a little faster than we were at this time last year.
We have time for a couple more. Next is going to be Steve Isbitz.
Coach, sticking with Tristan Wirfs, what do you see as his strengths so far and maybe some of his learning curves?
The best thing I could say about Tristan, you don't really say his name too much. As a rookie offensive lineman, that's a beautiful thing, right? Anytime you have to say his name a lot, that's probably issues. But with Tristan, I haven't really had to say his name but once or twice so far. So the kid's been having a good camp, and hopefully he can continue that. But he's playing well for us right now.
And with Keyshawn Vaughn and Raymond Calais, they've had so little time to prove themselves to you. What do you see for them as far as this season going? Do you feel they could be ready on day one?
We'll have to see. We'll have to see. This tough on the rookies. This who is tough on the most, the guys that are rookies. They haven't had OTAs. They haven't had the summer. So this is the first time, and we didn't get an opportunity to see some of these guys. I never had got my eyes on some of these guys until a couple of weeks ago. So that's difficult for them. I understand how difficult it is for them. I'm aware of that. So I try to put them in position to be successful. I know how tough a situation it got to be for veterans. So just imagine how tough it got to be for the young guys, the rookies that's coming in, and they first time stepping in the building is training camp. So we know how difficult that can be for the young guys. We don't make no excuses for them guys. Them guys still are held to a certain standard that they accept, and they'll just keep working and getting better, and we'll have to see once we get closer to that time.
Okay, we have time for one more. We're going to go to Greg Allman.
Hey, Byron, on this offensive line, in terms of adding some much-needed experience and depth in the middle, I know you've been with AQ Shipley in other teams. Just want to ask you what you like about him and what he brings to this group, even in a backup role.
He knows most of the stuff. Some things have changed since Arizona, but he knows most of it. Is somebody that we know, somebody that we trust that at that position. That's a tough position, right? That's a tough position that you always want to have depth at, right? Especially this year. And to have a guy like AQ, someone we know who knows the system, someone we feel as though can come in and play if need be because we know the guy. It's always good to have guys like that you can lean on in those dire situations, because when you lean on those guys, right, you need those guys to come in and to their best ability play like the guy ahead of them. So it's great to have a guy that understands it. Him and Blaine has played together with our two groups, so they can do a better job of helping our two group get in better position and getting understanding of what we're really trying to do.
Thanks, Byron.
Okay, that's all for today. Thanks, Byron.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me.